this morning, I was leading my horse into the barn. This is my little goat horse. She's got a lot of attitude, like me. It's fine. And I let her in the barn.
Should we just start recording like whenever you feel like it, and then we can do an intro whenever, and then cut and paste that back? Because like this, I feel like this is such a beautiful thing that you're about to share, and I'm like, maybe we should just start recording if we're ready.
Yeah. No, I should get started. I didn't want to say anything
Oh!
before I started.
Okay. So continue.
I was leading her.
So tell me your journey. Like, how have you gotten here today?
So I actually didn't like goat tying when I first started. I was really good at pole bending, and did a lot of little Wrangler rodeos in Watford City to start out, and goat tying was really not a good sport to be in at the moment. I kept falling on my face, but I won pole bending quite a bit, and then kind of all switched in high school, where my pole bending horse got arthritis. We had to just keep off of her, And then I got on Betty, did 3 runs before high school rodeo, and then ran her at high school. And we started getting better freshman year. Didn't do too hot in the fall, and then in the spring of freshman year I did pretty decent. I got 3rd in the state. And then I was like, well, that wasn't good enough. I want to be 1st. So then it was a lot of fixing my technique. Getting off the horse was a major component in being better, and my flank, because I had a high flank, and a flank is when you take a goat and you flip it up. I would flip mine all the way upside down and then put it down, which took time, and nobody ever taught me any other way. So my neighbor, Lexi Sebastian, decided that she would help me. And she has been the biggest help ever. She is nothing but supportive and always pushes me, and she's like, at one practice she goes, just be faster. Because she's like, you're being too technical. You don't need to be, just be faster. And so
did she also do goat tying as well?
She was very good, actually. She made it to nationals, and she rode calf horses. And so something surprising is a calf horse, when you get off them, they do a sliding stop. On goat horses, they just keep running by. So she had to completely adjust herself to calf horses and get off of them. And I mean, she ran 6s on calf horses, so.
What's a 6?
6-second goat tying run.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that was a while ago. I mean, now, the record's been broken and everything, but back then that was really fast.
It still seems really fast.
Oh, it
my
is.
Goodness. So what does practicing look like for you? Because you have all of this preparation, and you're trying all of this training and time you spend and energy, mentally, physically, and you're trying to do your sport in under 6 seconds.
Yeah, I definitely think a mental game is probably the biggest thing you could ever work on, and it's never quite fixed. You always have an area to improve on. And I learned about mental game my sophomore year because I would get so worried about a run that I would have a full-on meltdown if something didn't go right in my warm-up. And Lexi told me, she's like, you gotta fix it or else you're not gonna win. And so she gave me Heart of a Champion, which is a book about people going through the same issues as me and how I can fix it. Really awesome book. I read a chapter each night. It was great.
Wow.
And then a couple podcasts that I could listen to. And I mean, on the ride to school, I just have those playing instead of music. And it was like, at every possible second, I'd think about how I could get better with my brain to keep up with how I'm physically getting better.
And what drives you? Because you're 17 years old and you're reading all of these wonderful books. You're recognizing like you have the consciousness within you to recognize that if you want to achieve the goal that you want, you have to overcome this mental breakdown that you're saying that you experienced, or like, and then you listen to these podcasts and you're 17 years old. Like where do you get that from? What's it driving you?
If I'm gonna be really honest, I don't naturally.
Talks. You gotta be honest.
Yeah, I don't naturally have it. I'm a very don't care person. Like I just get over things really fast. And so that is something that I really had to get rid of. And so stuff that I had to find stuff that would make me want to be better. And so I would think about, I don't know how to explain this. When I would find myself not caring, it almost worried me more, because then I knew that each practice I went to was not going to be 100%. The reason I would get nervous is because I would be like, I didn't practice enough. This could go wrong, and I'd list all the things that were wrong. And so I'd practice enough to literally just build my confidence. And that was what motivated me, was to stay away from what I called the red zone, where you're thinking negative thoughts that do not need to happen. Even the yellow zone, you don't want to be in the yellow zone either, because that's just a step closer to the red zone. Practicing helps me stay in the green, where I know that every time I go in that arena, I will do my best. So that was my motivator.
Wow.
It's I kind of tricked myself into being motivated.
Well, that's that awareness and that consciousness that you recognize how you function, and you're categorizing it into these zones, which is so beautiful. How did you learn that in that book? The Game Changer.
It talked about red zones being negative thoughts, I suck, I'm never gonna do this. Yellow zones are being worried thoughts, what if this happens? What if I fall down? Stuff that never normally would happen. And then the green, which is I got this, I know I'm gonna do great. And the book said that you want to be in that green at all times. If you find yourself being in the yellow or the red, you need to get out of it as fast as possible, because that is only going to hurt you. And I found the easiest way for me to stay out of those zones was to be prepared, which means that I practiced efficiently and as much as I physically could do, without overworking myself or, doing having purposeful practices, not just going out to practice to say I did. It has to be I went down and I worked on this, this, and this. And
who's coaching you through that? Are you your own coach? Are you your own trainer, saying all right, I'm feeling this way, I'm gonna go get a great practice in? Or do you have a set schedule?
I do like schedules, but I've had to learn to be flexible. So in the morning, I'll get up at 5 and I'll be outside at 5:20, practicing, because we got lights. And sometimes if that doesn't work, it just doesn't work. And I have to be okay with that. So then I'll just practice at night, and I'll make that one more purposeful than it would normally be. I'd be okay, 2 things I can fix. My flank and maybe my get off. And we'll just find little small things like that to fix. And so when I say I like routines, it's just I like to know what I'm doing and where I'm going. But I also have to be okay if like it's raining one day and maybe 5 o'clock to 8:30 I can't go out and ride a horse.
There are some things you can't control, but there are things that you can control. What you can control is like how you let that situation make you feel.
Yep.
Wow.
And like,
wow. I'm like getting chills. I'm like, wow, you're like 17 years old, waking up at 5 a.m., like doing her thing. This is so amazing. You're so wonderful.
thank you.
So keep going, and we can also like wrap back and around to the question of like, you know, like what drives you?
Well, I mean, freshman year was what drove me because I was like, I really like that I made it to nationals. That was my first time. Didn't do too well at nationals. Okay, let's go and win the state and do good in nationals. One out of placing in short go, or making it into short go, and I was like, okay. Next step, we're not gonna win state. We're just gonna make it to nationals. Don't care however that happens. Because now, what's driving me is I want to win nationals. Instead of just placing at nationals, which was great and fun, I want to win it. And I mean, why not? And I've competed and I've tied alongside. I literally tied with the world champion goat tire of high school rodeo last year. And I know how much work she had to put in. And the way I think is like, I don't try to work harder than other people, but I try to like make my practices. I really think purposeful practices are more important than working harder than other people, which is what a few people I know try to do. And I have to tell them, I'm like, you can't. It's never going to get you anywhere because you're focused on other people and you're not focused on what you need to fix. And so the only way that I know how to win is to make each practice, I need to fix something or better myself. And that is what motivates me, is to just, each time I step foot in that arena, something is being worked on to be better. Plus I love goat tying, so yeah.
That's incredible. Now, like, is your schedule pretty intense with school and everything, and friends, and traveling to compete, and like all of that?
I'm taking 4 AP classes and 2 dual credits, so I have no off hours right now. So that's very intense. I do almost 4 hours of homework a night on top of rodeo practice. And so it does get very, very stressful. So half the time I don't finish my homework. It's fine. I just do it at lunch. Because I always, when I get my homework, I'll write it down. And I try to find a balance that, I mean, it's still stressful, but I try to reduce it as much as I can. And so
Do you have techniques for that?
I do, yeah.
Really? Let's hear them. Wow.
I watched a TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just, because I was like, I need something to help me remember all of this AP US history stuff. I have no clue what any of it means. Because I just read the whole chapter in one night. It's not a good idea. And so the dude was like, if you want to remember stuff, do work for 25 minutes, rest for 5. It helps you soak in your information. And I realized that
process what you just learned.
Yep.
The brain needs to rest.
Just take a minute, debrief everything, and then come back. And I kind of wish my school was like that, but I don't got enough time for that. And I find also another little trick that I do is I take an hour after every night, I take an hour and I do nice, relaxing things. Not watching TV. I mean, yeah, that's fun, but it's not, if you're going to watch a scary movie, it's not relaxing. because you're scared. So I'll wash my face because I have to guilt myself into doing it. I was like, well, you just learned all this information. You have to take care of yourself now. You want your body to keep doing stuff. You got to take care of it.
Man, you're so competitive with yourself in all aspects.
I have to be, or else I just won't do it. So, you just kind of like gaslight myself into doing stuff. So.
But that's like, we all have a choice when we wake up.
Yeah.
You know, and how we want to think, and it's like throughout everything you do, you get to choose like how you want to feel, or how, you know, and kind of like going back onto what we were saying about the book and like the zones, right? And like whatever we think in our minds is what will be.
Yep.
So that's why those red and yellow zones are, you know, like they have a purpose. They're there to protect us, those thoughts. But then we have to find the strength and the consciousness to come back into the zone where, you know, the things that we put the positive in our minds, so we know, so that our mind, because our mind wants to connect what we think. So if we think positive things will happen. If we think, I'm going to be the national champion, you're going to be the national champion. It might not be on the timing that you like, but if you keep thinking that, and it will happen. That's what I believe.
You're very right, actually. Yeah. It did make me think of another trick. So I'm a very pessimistic person. You know, my Lexi doesn't. She tries to make me be positive, and it's not always easy. So something I've found and learned is that if, let's say you're just brushing your teeth one morning, instead of doing it with your dominant hand, do it with your, you know, less dominant hand, because that opens up the subconscious of your brain. And so while that's opened up, think of positive thoughts, so that no matter what, you cannot think a bad thought, because subconsciously you're saying, I love myself, I'm amazing, I'm perfect. Because, you know, when you have adrenaline in your run, that subconscious brain takes over. And what's already planted there is what's going to come up.
Whoa, that is cool. That is awesome.
Thank you. I found that out and I was like, hi, I
TikTok?
gotta try it. Yeah. Everybody thinks that TikTok never like teaches you anything, but half the stuff I learned is from TikTok.
Well, I mean, it's what you watch, right?
Yeah.
Like you could follow the dancers or whatever, or you can follow this kind of stuff, you know?
And I just, like, with TikTok, I just take most of it with a grain of salt. But I mean, I was like, that sounds like it would probably be right. So I tried it and like
testing it out. Yeah.
And it's like, what's it gonna do? Hurt me if I say positive affirmations?
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's like most of the time we're always like speaking all this negative talk into our head. It's like, well, let's just, I don't know, maybe try to use positive words. Let's see what happens there.
I mean, it was a lot harder to brush my teeth that morning though, so.
You go to the dentist like a year later. He's like, what's going on with your teeth? You're like, I've been brushing with my less dominant hand. But my brain is strong.
But don't worry, I subconsciously love myself.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's too good. Ugh, I'm like crying. Okay, so nationals, like, you're getting there, you're gonna win. Like, where do you see yourself above and like further from, like, beyond? Because everything that you're learning at such a young age right now, you're gonna be able to use, and just in all areas of life, like, and you're gonna continue to grow. Because just like listen to you and your determination. I just am like, do you want to be like an astronaut someday and work for NASA? Like, what's your plan, woman? Change the world?
Well, I hope that I could possibly change the world. I mean, that would be pretty cool, but I would really love to continue working with horses. So I think an equine vet or small animal vet, both would be awesome for me. And I really like biology too. I think biology just has been easy for me. I can understand it. It just clicks immediately for me. And so I was told by my teachers, they were like, you need to major in biology because it's just fascinated me. And like, to some people they hate it, but I mean, learning about cells and like understanding life is just, to me, like amazing. And I don't know why, but water's pretty cool, I guess. Like stuff like that. And so
water's pretty important.
yeah, I think we might need it to live.
Yeah, I think we're like kind of like mostly made up of all of it, actually.
Oh, that's wild.
No, isn't it? Oh my goodness, that's really amazing. That's awesome. Do you have siblings? Like, what are your? Are you just like running around your parents basically?
We got my little sister, and she's a pretty wicked goat tire too. I mean, she took a little bit off from rodeo and came back this last year and getting there. She's doing pretty good. I'm proud of her. She works hard. I like that about her. And I just, like with my older brother, I mean, everything he's doing right now is amazing. He's leading the college region in tie down.
Did your parents do this too?
My mom rodeoed, and she was very, very good in pole bending, which is where I got my pole bending background from. And my dad rodeoed, and all of his brothers did too. And for the most part, they did pretty good. But I mean, my parents really push all of us. And to some people that might seem intense, but it's like without them, I know for a fact that I would not be as motivated as I am. I mean, like nobody from the outside, you would see my parents as tough and everything, but I absolutely love it because I need that extra support, or else I can't do it.
When you get these awards, like after you've worked so hard for something, like how does that make you feel?
Well, I'm more happy with myself, like just achieving the goal itself. I mean, like the trophy saddle, that's great. I'm so happy I have it. I'm always grateful for it. It's really cool. I made it look really cool. But the fact that I'm just accomplishing my self-made goals and like clicking off every single one of my boxes or whatever is more important to me. I'm not the type of person to be like happy because of the reward. I'm more happy with like getting something done. Like if I can just cross it off my list, I'm like, yay, woohoo, this is fun. Move on. And so like at state, that's kind of how it was. I was like, I did it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I achieved what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah. It's almost like when you're, I don't know if you stand on a podium.
Yep.
Yeah, so like when you stand on the podium, and you're receiving this award, it's not about necessarily that moment, but almost like the flashback of all of the mornings that you woke up and, the connection that you had to make with your horse and, the people that are helping you through this, like your neighbor and your parents and your siblings and everybody just being the support system. It's almost like all of those things are what make that special, the award, but not necessarily the award itself. Oh, that's so beautiful. Wow. You are like the coolest 17-year-old I've ever met.
Thank you. I try.
Wow. Yeah, you do. You sure do. Give us more. What other cool things do you do to stay, on track?
I like to have everything balanced, but I'm fine if something just completely goes out of control, because then it's like, well, we'll just pick it back up and continue. Which I used to not be that way. I used to fall apart at the seams every time something in my order or routine went wrong, and I had to fix it, and I would literally freak out and just completely be done.
Do you have like an example of like something like that, or like a recent situation? Well, not recent, because you said you were kind of working through that, but
Yeah. Last year. So this was when it was horrible. And like I said, I used to be the type of person to just get over something and not care. But the minute that I started caring, like I'd care too much and I'd be like in the yellow or red zone. Because before then I didn't know you could think positively and be good. And like, even if you had a bad run, you could still think about it positively. I didn't think that. I always thought like, I have to win or else I'm not good. And the Dickinson rodeo that I actually won at, if you would have saw me before the run, you would have asked yourself, who is that? Why are they literally crying next to their horse, freaking out about something that never will define them in the future? And it was because that I held my standard so high for myself that I was so scared I wouldn't achieve it. And like, that was worse than losing. It was just not being as good. And like, I always practice my get-offs before I go into my run, warm it up. And one of them didn't go well, and I like broke down. I was like,
that's really powerful.
And my trainer, she was like, Lexi said, you can't do this. You cannot break down about this. You're going to be fine. Has this happened before? And I was like, no. And she's like, exactly. So don't be worried about something that happened one time. Be more focused on all of the times that it went good. Because that'll beat out that one time it went bad. And some people can't think in their runs, but I find it more beneficial to think, because then you are very aware of your body and what it's doing, and you can control it more. Which is what I need to do.
Wow. That's like its own meditation in like, without just laying down. Like, you're having to be so in tune with your body in that time frame of you. I keep getting stuck on this goat time. Sorry.
You're good.
But like, seriously, like, you have to be so in your body, aware of everything, aware of your environment, which is what meditation is, right? Which is like consciousness is, and like, and tie a horse or tie a goat while you're doing that. That's crazy. That blows my mind. But like, I was also just thinking about what you were saying too, and just how like, if you would look at yourself like a year ago and you saw that person like crying by your horse, it's almost like at that moment you weren't enjoying the journey. And you were just thinking about the destination. And like, that's so huge. That's what I meant by that was so powerful, is because wow, for you to recognize that it's, I mean, like, I feel like I'm still trying to figure that out, or like, practice that it's about the journey and not just the destination. And the journey is the part that you want to live fully.
It doesn't matter if you beat me or not. I will always care about how each competitor does, because we're all on the same journey in goat tying. We all want to win. We all want to get to where we're successful. And if somebody gets that success, that's amazing. Like, way to go. You've figured it out. Because even now, I'm still figuring it out. I mean, I don't win it all. It'd be great.
What's the length of a goat tier's career?
All the way to the end of college. And then, I mean, yeah, there's some like adult goat tyings, but it's never like competitive, like pro rodeo or whatever. So essentially, most goat tiers stop at college. And I mean, that's, I guess, sad, but I don't think about it like that. I'm just happy that I've gotten the opportunity to goat tie, and I mean, I can still barrel race. I still got that ahead of me. We'll be fine.
Is goat tying something that a lot of people get into, or is it kind of like is it an ongoing thing, or is it less and less people are starting to do it, or what are you finding?
I'm finding that I'll do the North Dakota region. Not very many people are in it compared to barrels.
Mm-hmm.
There's right now more people joined, but it's like 40 goat tires or something versus like 85 barrel racers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's just, because people see barrel racing long term in the future, they can do it as long as they like, where a goat tying, you don't get that opportunity. And I've seen more success with goat tying than barrels, but that doesn't mean I'm never going to stop working in barrels.
Mm-hmm.
I work just as hard as I do in barrel racing, and I actually did, that's where I learned to take those small victories. I might have not made the winning run, but I maybe picked my hand up how I was supposed to, sat down how I was supposed to, or did something right in that run that was just a win for me. And like what you said, like taking those small victories in your run, looking for the positives, that is super, super beneficial to you. Not everybody has to know that you won. So when you take those small wins, take that with as much, gratification as you can, because it's only up from there. I love saying that because it's true. Like when you click with a horse, which means you really just get with them, it's only up from there.
Yeah. Would you encourage, or is this something that you would want more people to get into because of everything that you've learned and the determination? Do you think that goes kind of hand in hand with the sport?
I think rodeo is super, super, super amazing for teaching lessons. I learned pretty fast that you can't just do everything like halfway. It's got to be all or nothing, or else you're not going to succeed. Because if you do it halfway, there's always going to be that person who's going to do it all the way. They're going to beat you every single time, and you're going to be mad about it, but you're not doing enough. And what kind of makes me mad is that schools, don't really support. They recognize rodeo, but nobody comes out to watch rodeo. None of the people from the school do. And it's just kind of gets under my skin, but at the same time, it's whatever.
What is it like? How so?
So, attendance, for example. If I were gone for rodeo, that'd be an excused absence. But if I were gone for a cheer competition, that'd be a sports excused absence. So that would not count as an actual absence. It would just be marked down that I wasn't there.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
What else?
But it's still a school sport?
It's not.
It's just not, it's not connected. Yeah, I see. Okay.
So.
But it is a sport, yeah.
To me, it's a sport. To some people, it's not, but it is in the Olympics, so. Yeah. So I think it should be a sport.
I did competitive cheer throughout, high school, since I was 12 on, and yeah, we were gone all the time. And same thing, it's not connected to the school, so I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. But there are so many people in the school that are part of of rodeo, right? And isn't there 4-H and all of that? And it's that's still some kind of
I feel like
entity.
If anything, rodeo could be connected to FFA. It has something to do with livestock, agriculture, stuff like that. And so, I'm not asking for them to fund that rodeo because that's a lot of money. More than $1,000. It's way too much. But
But at least let me miss a day as a sports excuse.
It would just be more, it would be better if, they really, showed more support towards it like they would do for basketball. Like in pep rallies, it's like,
Yeah.
people forget rodeo.
Yeah.
Like they got all these flags up on our school wall and nothing about rodeo.
Yeah.
At the same time, that kind of motivates me to be good enough to be recognized by the school. Because, yeah.
Because it's something that you want to change. You're passionate about that change and bringing more of awareness to what you do and what others do that's not totally recognized in the school district. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
That's going to be very impactful for a lot of people who are in your shoes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who just are in the same boat as me. I mean, a lot of the kids in rodeo do homeschool because of how much they miss. And so I know that I'll be gone in November for an entire week because I'll be in Texas. Getting better at goat time because my parents do nothing but support me. And I was like, I gotta be in.
Shout out to the parents.
I know, right? They're pretty awesome. Our school has gotten better though at supporting them, or supporting me and anybody else in rodeo. They posted me on their webpage for winning. The principals always ask, "Hey, how's it going? How are you doing?" My cheer coaches always ask "How'd you do? Still going good and everything?" And it's they're starting to be more supportive and understanding that rodeo is a sport and could be more recognized.
Yeah, and you're really doing that.
He's done a really good job
Yeah.
at recognizing it.
Yay! Well, and then you also had that interview you said in Bismarck. Yeah.
And I feel just putting out I even wrote an article about all of the lessons that rodeo has taught me, being determined, being motivated, being really hardworking. I mean, half the time, feeding horses isn't just feeding horses. You got to go out in a snowstorm, or in the rain, or in 90-degree heat to feed animals, or else they die. Wouldn't want that. And practicing. I mean, I've practiced in the rain. Because you got to be ready for any condition. I mean, it's not they're going to be "Oh, it's raining, can't rodeo today."
Yeah.
So it's just taught me more things about life than I think any other sport could have.
So what do you have in place up until July that's going to get you nationals?
Well, we're going to finish our high school season off. So we got a fall and a spring and then nationals. But I have Little Britches and MHA rodeos. And MHA rodeos are so amazing. It's like a high school rodeo, but I can just relax. I don't know why. I get more worked up at high school rodeos than MHAs, but it's probably because my events aren't so close together, so I can take the time to braid my horses pretty and stretch them out, do whatever I would need to do.
And then you said that you just went to Texas for a training?
No, that's in November.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
And do you just, is it from somebody who is very famous or something in the, how did you find this person in Texas?
We found her at nationals, actually, and we decided then, that would be something that would help me. Because Mom really believes that I can win nationals, and she is all in to get me there any way I can. And so we decided to do Stacy Martin. I mean, a lot of her girls did amazing at nationals. 3 of the Texas girls placed top 3, and then the girl from Canada won it. So I mean, that's got to say something about Stacy.
Mm-hmm. I have to ask the question because you say that you're like super connected to your horse, and that like they're very like human-like, right? Do you ever like think about the goats?
I really like goats. Like not just the tie, I just like them. They're interesting to me. So I'd like to buy a lot of goats and I'll pet them. Eventually they just become like little pets, and then we have to give them away because they're not good to tie after that, after they become a pet. So then they'll just follow you around.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we had this goat named Nathan and chased you like a dog. And you'd literally have to like run him together into the pasture and drive away super fast so he wouldn't follow you up to the house. Because then he'd poop on our deck.
Oh my goodness.
And then I would literally buy like little dwarf goats, not even, like never to tie them, just to have them as pets. Because they're adorable. I just absolutely love goats. I have this one. Its name is Peaches, number 2 actually. We have 3 peach goats, all named the same thing because of my mom.
She just loves that name?
Yep. Don't know why.
That's awesome.
And I love that goat. Every time I tie it though, it plays dead. It just lays there and pretends to be dead. It's completely fine. You know, after like 3 seconds it gets up and runs around again. But I like that goat. And then Mario.
Wow, lessons from a goat. Just like, let it go. Let it go. I just got tied down, but let it go. Now I'm just going to go about my life again.
They're just such carefree creatures, and everybody thinks they eat everything. They don't really eat everything. They like to eat hair. They like to jump on you. I had this goat named Charlie. Charlie will always be my favorite goat, and we unfortunately had to give her back to the other owner named Charlie. Yeah. Yep.
That's too funny.
And
Peach, 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 and Charlie, Charlie.
Yep. We're really good with names.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah. That's our motto. I actually had a pen of goats named after Vampire Diaries characters. So we had Bonnie, and then we had Elena, and then we had what was his name? The one vampire dude. Have you ever seen it?
I've actually never seen Vampire Diaries. No.
What's his name? Stefan, I think. Stefan. Yeah, but Stefan was a girl.
If we have like a live or something, people are gonna be like, the name is blah 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 blah. You know.
Everybody will attack us in the comments.
Yeah.
But
first person to guess the name in the show gets a prize.
And Charlie likes to, whenever I go get new pens of goats from them, because Charlie will give us goats, the goat Charlie likes to run up to me, because for some reason we had a really good bond. And she lets me pet her and scratch and love on her and everything, and Mom fell in love with the goat, and so I think if I work on her a little bit, we could get Charlie back as a pet goat.
Aww. So you have so every goat that you tie, does that end up, it doesn't end up becoming your goat, right? They don't usually want to be. Is that what I'm understanding?
The more you tie the goat, the more tame they get.
Oh, so
versus if you loved on them, they really don't care. It makes no sense.
Ah, it's interesting.
Goats are weird. Yeah, they're very interesting creatures. I had a white goat, very smart goat, would jump. So we have a dog fence for them, and it's probably all the way up there, not something really easy to get over. I'd jump out every night.
Mm-hmm.
I sat and I watched that goat do that, and I figured out it went from the house, it jumped on top of its little dog house and jumped over the fence.
Smart.
Mm-hmm. Except it wasn't that smart because we also had a den of coyotes that lived next door.
Oh, wow.
So it could have been eaten. But, yeah. Would have found out the hard way, I guess. But
short lesson of life.
yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing. So when did you first start?
I probably started goat tying when I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
But
how did your parents introduce that?
They told me to do it.
Uh-huh.
They just were like, we want you to win all around, which means like whoever has the most points from each event combined together is what an all around is. And they were like, we're going to put you in flag racing, barrel racing, pole bending, goat tying, everything, keyhole, anything you can possibly do in these little kid rodeos to just, be good. And so as time went on, that just event always kind of stayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always enjoyed goat tying. Even when I wasn't good at it, it was always just something fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how barrel racing was too. It's always been something fun. And even though pole bending didn't really happen the way I wanted it to, I mean, I did good in it for a while, and horse, got hurt and everything. But it's always been fun. I've never really had a time where I was like, I don't want to do rodeo. I don't enjoy it, I feel like it's just always something that'll be with me, and I can't get rid of it. And I'm in too deep at this point. And I'm fine with that. It's pretty all right.
Yeah, it's just like a part of you. But it seems like what also drives you is just for the change, like within the school district, for the challenge within yourself, of course, the achievement of breaking records. It's just like an overall motivation of life, for life, that has like all the elements. It's beautiful. Your story is beautiful.
Thank you. I've never thought about it that way, where I just motivated in all aspects.
Yeah.
I like that thinking.
I like your thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, amazing. How are we doing on time?
We're probably gonna wrap it up.
Okay, dokay. Well, I was just having the time of my life chatting with you, so I'm sorry if I overdid it.
You're just fine. I enjoy it too.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I feel like this is just so cool. I'm so excited to see what you do and where you go, and just to know who you are, because I imagine this isn't going to be the last time you're sitting in a chair sharing your wonderful mind. You're going to grow. So you're going to have a beautiful journey. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you guys are wonderful people.
Oh my goodness. Josiah's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
Truly, that was so cool. You are everything and more that Josiah told me you were. And I'm wow.
I told you.
You were not you were not joking.
Funny.
So funny.
Yeah.
You're